Greetings, family. It's Ama, the WayMaker, with your coming forth by day message. Um, I sat with the ancestors, the spirit guides today, and asked for a message. I'm really excited because it's a continuation of yesterday's message. I feel like it's the beginning of kind of like the medicine that you have to dive into to really grab hold of yesterday's message and start to live in it in a new way. For me, the message from yesterday, and I think I titled it Initiation into the Super Self or something like that. But that energy is something that spirit has brought to me various times over especially the last 2 years, but throughout various places in my life. But definitely now, with all of the changes that I've made in my personal life and my professional life, I'm grounding into that energy and embodying that energy in a new way. And I'm sure those of you who are aligned with this message are also. So the angel number for the day is 646. And 646 brings a message of love and provision and working towards establishing and fulfilling lasting goals for yourself and for family. It's about striving for success and achieving it, surrendering your worries and concerns about monetary issues so that they can be healed and alleviated, keeping a positive outlook to manifest the abundance and prosperity that has already been foretold in your life. This is not something that you have to guess about. This is not something that you have to wonder about. So for those of us who are aligned with this message and have those types of concerns, it's probably because we're still uprooting the lack mindset or poverty mindset or some conditions that were embedded in us that must be uprooted for us to achieve the overflow that the divine has foretold. We are to maintain high expectations. Part of the message yesterday was have big expectations. Expect miracles. Expect acquisitions. So we are to maintain those expectations and continue to work diligently, knowing that all is well and that the divine is co-creating with us to ensure our success. We are to expect miracles and miraculous answers. So again, we get expect miracles and miraculous answers and solutions to appear as we need them. And we are to take the time to nurture and cherish ourselves and our loved ones and appreciate our many blessings. That is another one that came up yesterday. Developing your self-worth, understanding that you are a child of the light, understanding that you are the shine that reflects the divine out into the world, which is huge. So make sure you take the time to nurture that. And yesterday, another part of the message was building the routines. So how are you going to nurture yourself? What does that actually look like for you in real time? What is that comprised of? How much time do you devote to that? What do you do with that time? How do you talk about that time with others? How do you talk about yourself with others? How do you talk about yourself with yourself? Just some other aspects of that. Okay, so just as yesterday, I pulled 2 cards. One is an oracle card, and one is a tarot card from the Book of Doors. It's an Egyptian divination deck. So this is the Celtic Tree Oracle. And we got the U, number 20. And then we also, this is the Book of Doors divination deck. And we got Hapi, which is number 5. Okay. So for the U, the keywords, and with this U oracle, it gives you keywords, it gives you totem and deity associations, it gives you a reading, like a message for a reading, and then it gives you a message from the tree itself, the energies of the tree. It also gives you a reverse meaning, which I'm not going to read. But the reverse meaning is great because the reverse meanings it's like, for me, the reverse meanings are the how. They give you ideas for working through the energies that the card talks about. Like if you're working through them but you haven't mastered them yet, then the reversed can pretty much map out how to do that. So for the U, the keywords are death and rebirth, legacies, ancestors, transition, transformation, transmutation, reincarnation, endings and beginnings, and regeneration. When you get the U in a reading, you should expect some sort of ending. What are you done with? What have you completed? What have you had enough of? What is asking you to let it go? You may not know where you're going, but you don't need to. The U asks you to embrace change, to follow the process. Something is dissolving so that something new can be birthed. If you're dealing with the death of something or someone, grief is appropriate, of course, but also be open to messages from those who have passed through the veil. You is here to assure you that death is only a threshold into another dimension of existence. Communication is possible with those who have passed over. Your loved ones are not lost to you. Look to synchronicities and dreams. Transformation and transmutation involve evolutional changes. We become something new. We are rebirthed at a new level of awareness and consciousness. It is time for prayer, for silence, and for the contemplation of the mysteries and the unknown. Are you truly living your life? Can you create a bigger life? Are you willing to have Source work through you to create beauty, harmony, and peace for the world? You will connect you to your ancestors and to the places from which they came. There is much ancient knowledge here to access. Are you open to their guidance? And the message of the tree is, I am the you. I connect you to the aspirations of your lineages and your ancestors. I connect you to your homelands. I hold ancient spiritual teachings and knowledge. I am full of the hope of your people. I connect you to loved ones who have passed over. I am here to remind you that space and time are inventions, not the true foundation of reality. Be patient. I offer you courage and inner knowing. Do not be afraid of change. Do not be afraid of death. They are just portals into new beginnings. Breathe deeply and steady yourself. Listen to the inner silence in which you can hear what has gone before and that which endures for all time. You are part of an important legacy. You are a steward of Mother, the Earth Mother. You have work to do. Protect her as she is a paradise. and be kind to yourself. Treat yourself with love and respect. You are a holy being of great potential. Grief will only serve to deepen you. Allow us to fill you with hope and trust and belief that the light will return and you will burn even brighter than you could have imagined. For you are loved. So that's a powerful, powerful message coming from the you. I love how it's the grounding of the message from yesterday. So if yesterday was the enlightenment, then this is the beginning of us really grounding into this newness, this new awareness. This is the beginning of integration. Um, and I love how I picked the tree oracle for this, and it brings grounding and connection to your ancestors and your roots and the lands from the ancestral lands that you walked in other incarnations and that your ancestors walked. So very profound. And the empowering question card that I pulled for the you is, if I didn't feel shame or fear, what would I do now? So knowing that with this reminder from the you that you are connected to the ancestors, that you are connected to the all, that you old things are dying so that you can birth new things, that you are birthing a new version of yourself. What would you do if you didn't feel shame or fear? Often it's shame and fear that keep us from walking in the energy of our alignment. It's shame or fear that keep us from taking those bold steps that are needed to take to access our greatness in a new way and to embody it on this plane in a new way. So very powerful question there. And then I'm going to go to the next card, Happy, from the Book of Doors Divination deck. And with this deck, they give you some information about the Egyptian god. They give you a lot of information about the Egyptian god and the nature of Egyptian life and how this god was worshipped and what it meant for everyday life as an Egyptian. And then it gives you a divinatory meaning, which is really precise. So the divinatory meaning for Hapi is the joining of opposition and harmony, an influx of positive energy bringing about a sense of renewal, the fluidic energy of the astral work. And the background they have, Hapi, the god of the Nile, held a unique position among the Egyptian Neteru. Without the yearly flooding of the Nile, no crops would have been planted. The vegetation would have died and all animals and human life would perish. The Nile was the artery of life for the entire Egyptian civilization, and Hapi, being the personification of this vital flow of water, was held to be as powerful as Ra. For although the sun transmitted light and heat, and Ra was the god of the sun, there would be no life without the vital waters of the Nile. As Egypt was believed to be the terrestrial reflection of the body of heaven, the cooling moisture was the lifeblood of the earth, the cosmic fire of Ra manifesting through the element of water. In occult symbolism, Hapi stands for the fluidic energy of the astral body. Hapi was a very ancient name for the Nile. And as Asur was also originally a god of the river, Hapi became identified with him at an early period and was included among his many forms. Even in late dynastic times, Hapi was invoked to bring yearly inundation. The rising of the Nile was celebrated as one of the major festivals throughout the land, with statues of Hapi being carried through the towns to be honored. So what's standing out to me already, the fluidic energy of the astral body, and how we must develop that type of a flow in our physical body. It's a very particular flow that we must have to embody the spiritual in this physical realm, and that's what that makes me think about. And then rebirth and fertility. Um, One of the messages that we got yesterday was about planting seeds. And so to get a message today of water and fertility, and not only water, but waters that bring in nurturing soils that fertilize the seeds and create nourishment for the seeds in such a way, in a way that guarantees that we will have overflow as the divine has foretold. So very powerful. It goes on to talk about how Egypt was literally reborn annually because of these rich deposits from the Nile, and how the people worshipped, and how these cycles were the focus of life. And we need to consider that as we consider the message of this card, the cycles in our life that nourish us. Are we building our lives around them? Are we building our lives around these routines that spur us further into our greatness, that help us to become what it is we are seeking, what the divine knows that we could be? So I love this message. The card for the Hapi divination card, the question is, what does love mean to me? What does love mean to me? So considering the nourishing water of regeneration and rebirth, considering that that our success has been foretold, that we can see the blessings in our life that are manifesting through us, through our courageous action. What does love mean to us? What does divine love mean to us? And what does self-love mean to us? How would we be if we tapped into a deeper level of being loved by the divine? How can we allow ourselves to be loved more? How can we how can we align with deeper connection with all that is? And how can we love ourselves more? What does that look like? Very powerful indeed. This has been Ama Asantewaa, the WayMaker, with today's version of the coming of forth by day and the message of the day. I wish you all well. I hold space for your continued ascension and evolution. I live each day in gratitude of all that I am and all that I am coming to be, of all that I have been gifted and all that is on the way. And I give gratitude for the same for all of you, all who are aligned with this message, all of us who are co-creating with the divine to birth a new world, all of us who are whose frequency is helping to birth a new dimension, life on a new dimension in this reality. So I thank you. I thank you for your time and for your attention. I love you and I bid you good day. Ashe. Aho.